Big breaking news coming in as the India versus South Africa match is cancelled now due to smog, but the politics over the matter begins. Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav has taken a swipe at the Delhi government and the BJP, saying that the Delhi pollution has reached Lucknow now, due to which the match was cancelled. He said, and I quote, "That's why the international cricket match scheduled to be held in Lucknow is not taking place, because of the Delhi pollution that has reached Lucknow now." The reason is smog and not fog, is what the claim by the India bloc leader. More breaking news coming in at this hour. The Karnataka Health Department and Family Welfare Department has proposed regulating and prohibiting the feeding of pigeons in public places, citing serious public health concerns arising from large congregations of birds and prolonged exposure to pigeon droppings and feathers, which even medical experts say can cause respiratory illnesses, including pneumonitis and irreversible lung damage, especially among children, the elderly, and those with pre-existing conditions. Remember, this has been a big debate time and again, as several states were mulling over this as well. During the bird droppings, there are harmful chemicals that experts say that affect the health of the people who are surrounding those areas, even in the residential areas. My colleague Deepak Bopanna is also joining in. Deepak, is the Karnataka government mulling over putting a ban on public feeding of pigeons?
Yes, and this move is definitely going to spark off yet another debate, and similar to what we've seen in places like Mumbai. Now the Karnataka Health Department here has asked all the urban development departments to really send out instructions to the Greater Bengaluru Authority and also all the other municipal corporations in the state to impose a ban on feeding pigeons in areas where it causes public nuisance or even health risks. There will be designated feeding zones where they can actually feed the pigeons, but the ones who will be feeding the pigeons will only be recognized NGOs, and more importantly, there's also restricted feeding hours to limit bird gatherings as well. Meanwhile, there's also going to be strict enforcement. There'll be on-spot fines, and also action could be taken under the law as well to prevent spread of infectious diseases, is what we're learning. We'll really have to see with the health department, of course, making it clear that they want to go ahead with the implementation, how things, play out, and whether there'll be any sort of opposition that will come in from animal groups or any other parties concerned.
Right. Thank you so much, Deepak, for joining us with those details. Leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, expressed concerns over the decline in manufacturing in India, while stressing that manufacturing is the backbone of strong economies. The Congress leader made this remark after visiting BMW plant in Munich as part of his visit to Germany. The BJP has sharply hit out at leader of opposition and claimed that Rahul Gandhi is tarnishing India's image with such comments on the world stage. Listen in to the face-off.
Congress has taken it upon itself to do Bharat Badnami, and in Modi Virod, how they go against India's economic prowess, army prowess or democratic prowess is evident for all to see. In the country, Prithviraj Chavan says India's army and air force could not handle Operation Sindhu. He says India's army is not required, and on foreign soil, Rahul Gandhi, who has once upon a time gone and said India's democracy is over and foreign countries should intervene, now goes and says that manufacturing in India is completely destroyed. This is the same Rahul Gandhi who spewed lies and said economy of India is dead. But unfortunately, except for manufacturing lies, Congress has done nothing. It undermines India's army's achievements, it undermines India's economic achievements, and undermines India's democratic achievements. In Modi Virod, they will go and spread propaganda and lies on every and any issue.
बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं, सच कह रहे हैं, और ये आलोचना नहीं, ये फैक्ट, और जो फैक्ट है वो तो कहा जाएगा वो सारी दुनिया को मालूम है। सवाल सिर्फ इतना सा उठता है कि विदेशी धरती पे जब प्रधानमंत्री जाके कहें कि सबसे भ्रष्टाचारी देश हिंदुस्तान था, मेरे पहले वहाँ लोग किसी का विश्वास नहीं करते। तो प्रधानमंत्री जर्मनी में, चाइना में, जापान में, हर देश में बोले तो वो बात जब आलोचना करें तो वो नहीं करनी। पर ये तो दिस इज फैक्ट, ये तो पूरी दुनिया को मालूम है।
A war of words broke out after senior Congress leader Prithviraj Chavan says that India lost on day one of Operation Sindoor. Operation Sindoor was the 88-hour mini-war between India and Pakistan in May this year. Chavan said on day one, India were completely defeated, whether people accept it or not. The Air Force was completely grounded and not a single aircraft flew. The BJP has hit out at the remarks, but Chavan says he sticks by what he says and that he will address the media to explain his remarks. He says that the constitution gives him power to ask questions, but the BJP says that this is what the Congress party does. It berates Bharat and forces. Listen in to the reactions.
मोदींनी का मान्य केलं? पहिल्या दिवशी आपला संपूर्ण पराभव झाला. 7 तारखेला जे हवाई युद्ध अर्ध्या तासात झालं त्यामध्ये आपला टोटल पराभव झाला. हे कोणी मान्य करो अगर न करो, भारताची जी सैन्यामध्ये जी सुपेरियरिटी होती, आपल्याकडे जवळजवळ 12-15 लाखाचं स्टँडिंग आर्मी आहे, पाकिस्तानकडे 5-7 लाखाची. आपण खूप स्ट्रॉंग होतो त्या मानाने, पण ते सगळे संपले कारण त्याला युद्धच होणार नाही. त्यामुळे तुमच्याकडे 12 लाख सैन्य आहे का 25 लाख सैन्य आहे का 1 कोटी सैन्याला काय अर्थ राहिला नाही, कारण युद्धच होणार नाही, कोणी करूनच देणार नाही तुम्हाला. ते आत्ता आपण ऑपरेशन सिंदूरमध्ये पाहिलं की मिलिटरीची 1 किलोमीटर सुद्धा कुठं हालचाल झाली नाही. ते 2-3 दिवस झालं ते फक्त हवाई युद्ध झालं, मिसाईल युद्ध झालं. आता पुढची युद्ध तशीच होणार आहेत. मग आपल्याला 12 लाख आर्मी ठेवायची काय गरज आहे का? मग त्यांच्याकडे दुसरं काहीतरी काम करून घेऊ आपण.
बिल्कुल सवाल नहीं उठता.
हाँ जी सर.
नहीं सवाल नहीं उठता.
सवाल
मैं बात करूंगा ना डिटेल में.
माफी मांगने का सवाल
माफी का मांगू?
लेकिन आपके हिसाब से स्टेटमेंट गलत था क्या सर?
बिल्कुल नहीं.
लोग मीडिया में वही सब जगह ऐसे ही चला कि अपमान हुआ है.
मैं करूंगा, डिटेल बात करूंगा
जी.
आई विल टॉक टू मीडिया प्रॉपर्ली.
सो आर यू अपोलोजाइजिंग राइट नाउ?
अरे आउट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन.
जो पृथ्वीराज चौहान जी ने बोला है ये कोई गलत बात उन्होंने नहीं बोली है. उन्होंने जो एक हमारे बारे में विश्व में जो बोला जाता है वही चीज उन्होंने एक बार फिर से रखी है. जो उन्होंने कहा उसी प्रकार से अमेरिका का भी वही बयान था. इंटरनेशनल मीडिया ने लगभग वही उसी प्रकार से चीजों को उन्होंने छापा है. और इतना ही नहीं तो जो राफेल कंपनी उसने भी हमारे जहाज वहां भारत को दिए हुए जो है वो गिरे थे, ये भी उन्होंने भी अपने प्रेस रिलीज में कहा था. तो ये तमाम जो लोगों का कहना है उस पर क्या स्थिति है, इस पर नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने बयान करना चाहिए.
ये भारत की हार बोलने वाले ये पाकिस्तान की जीत चाहते हैं क्या? पाकिस्तान की बोली बोलते हैं, भारत के खिलाफ बात करते हैं. ये काय के भारतीय है, ये काय की देशभक्ति है, ये काय की राष्ट्रभक्ति है? ये तो देशद्रोह है, ये देश से गद्दारी है, देश से बेईमानी है. और इसलिए ऐसे वक्तव्य करने वालों का मैं जाहिर निषेध करता हूं.
देखिए, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर जिस तरह से शुरू किया और जिस तरह से रोका गया वो एक रहस्य है. हमारी फौज, राजनाथ सिंह बोल रहे थे अब कराची तक जा रही है, इस्लामाबाद जीत रहे हैं. तो अचानक ऐसा क्या हो गया कि प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप ने फोन किया और आपने पूरी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर को रुकवा दिया. ये जनता के साथ धोखा है, देश के साथ धोखा है. ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पूरा नहीं हुआ है, पहलगाम का बदला पूरा नहीं हुआ है.
कौन क्या कह रहा है ये उससे मुझे कुछ लेना देना नहीं. सेना के शौर्य पर किसी को गाली देने का अधिकार नहीं है. जो लोग सेना के शौर्य को अपमानित करते हैं वो कभी देश हित की बात सोच ही नहीं सकते.
Slipping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching NDTV. The Bondi Beach attack has once again pushed the global spotlight onto the threat of Islamic terrorism and reignited a sharp political debate on radicalization and security. While Australian authorities continue to uncover the ISIS ideology that inspired Naveed and Sajid Akram to mercilessly murder 15 people on December 14, US President Donald Trump and US Director General of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard have hit the nail on the head to ring an alarm against Islamic terrorism. Gabbard called Islamist extremism the greatest threat to global freedom, linking recent attacks to unchecked migration and warning that democracies must act before it's too late. Former US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo echoed similar concerns, saying reluctance to name Islamist extremism only emboldens terrorists. Israel and Australia are now echoing what India has been demanding time and again, saying time and again, and calling out terrorism in black and white and the sponsors of terrorism like Pakistan. The world leaders are demanding to unite against terrorism. So, will the world now walk the talk instead of just verbal condemnation? Or will we just see more verbal condemnations and meetings and plans being hatched to counter terrorism instead of what transpired on Sunday in Sydney when two shooters opened fire on Jews who were celebrating Hanukkah festival? Now, this is not the first time that terrorist strikes have happened in your neighborhood. It has been happening so far. India, which adopted the zero tolerance policy against terror, has also called out Pakistan, which breeds and has a breeding ground for terrorists. But so far, no world condemnation has happened and no action has taken place. So will we see it finally? Remains to be seen. Listen in to what exactly transpired.
The Bondi Beach attack has once again pushed the global spotlight on the threat of Islamic terrorism and reignited the sharp political debate on radicalization and security. While Australian authorities continue investigations, leaders in the United States have called out radical Islamist terror.
In Australia, as you know, that was a terrible attack. 11 dead, 29 badly wounded. And that was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously. And I just want to pay my respects to everybody. You probably read it's been a very, very brave person actually who went and attacked frontally one of the shooters and saved a lot of lives. So very brave person who's right now in the hospital, pretty seriously wounded. So great respect to that man that did that.
U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard called Islamic extremism the greatest threat to global freedom, linking recent attacks to unchecked migration and warning that democracies must act before it's too late. Former US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo echoed similar concerns, saying reluctance to name Islamic extremism only emboldens terrorists. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said that Sajid Akram and Naveed Akram, the father-son duo who killed 15 people on Sydney's Bondi Beach during a mass shooting, appeared to be driven by Islamic State ideology. Australian police are also investigating a trip taken by the two suspects to the Philippines in the month before the attack. Sajid and Naveed Akram declared the southern city of Davao as their final destination and booked return flights to Sydney. Davao is a large city on the island of Mindanao, a region where Islamist groups have historically operated. NDTV Bureau Report.